Hey guys, welcome back to Glam Finds. I'm here with a fragrance review, a fragrance you guys requested for me to review. It's from the house of Guerlain, and I'm talking about Guerlain L'Homme Ideal L'Entente. Now this is obviously one of the newer bottles because the old bottle was completely blacked out. As you guys know, this line, they used to have like kind of framing around it, like in whatever color the cap was. They don't do that anymore, and all the bottles pretty much look like this with a different sticker now. But although this is a new batch, I don't really have any complaints about it. Let's talk about the scent profile. I think first and foremost, what you're gonna smell is that nice sweet almond note. This fragrance has kind of some of the darker notes in this line. However, I get a sweet, really lovely fragrance. I think it's also because there's going to be rose in here. It's not a super rosy rose. And what I mean by that is that if you're super off-put by rose, I don't think you're going to be off-put by this at all. It's not like a green rose. It's not a fresh rose, nothing like that. It's just kind of a sweeter rose note in here, but it's really nice. I think it adds to the almond note pretty well. There are other notes in here that are a little bit darker, like patchouli, incense. You're gonna get a little bit of the incense, but not as much because you've got other notes in here like vanilla and obviously the almond note, which I would say you can detect the almond note the entire life, even though it's on the top of the fragrance. I honestly smell it for the life of the fragrance, and I actually really enjoy that note. But it also has creamier notes like sandalwood, tonka. You've got a chili note in here, or a chili pepper note, I should say. It's not like home cooked chili or anything, but I don't get too much of that. I think if anything, that kind of comes in and balances out the sweetness a little bit. The sandalwood adds to the creaminess of the almond. I think sandalwood and almond are a really good combination when used together. And there's leather, and it's a really smooth leather in here. I think it really makes this fragrance a little bit more escalated. Of course, there's also cardamom in here. It's not going to be as prominent as you would expect, but it's in there. I think everything's just blended really well. So what you're going to end up smelling is just a really smooth blended fragrance with creaminess, sweetness, and just a little bit of that incensey vibe. I did have Guerlain L'Homme Ideal EDP before. I like this more. I find this to be less sweet than that. I mean, it's been like a year since I've owned it, so I may be wrong, but that one didn't wow me very much. I found that one to be more synthetic smelling than this one. I know that one is the favorite. I really didn't keep it for very long just because I just wasn't a fan. It wasn't bad or anything like that. I just didn't care about it enough to keep it. This I actually like, and I'm gonna be honest, I was a little surprised. I only picked it up because it had just gotten back in stock, and it seemed like it wasn't gonna be in stock for very long, and actually, I would say several hours after I picked it up, it was out of stock again. So I was like, okay, I can flip it if I don't want it. But I'm happy to say this is gonna stay in the collection. It is a really nice fragrance. I really like that almond with the rose and those vanillic notes with the creamy sandalwood. It's a really, really good mix to me. Again, it may be a little bit too sweet for some people. If you don't like things that are a little on the sweeter side, this may not work for you. But if you really like that sweet almond note, this is probably going to be something that does work for you. In terms of performance, I actually heard a lot of bad things about performance. I didn't get that at all. In terms of longevity, I get over 10 hours. The reason 10 hours is my go-to is because 10 hours means that I was able to get to work, complete an entire work shift, and drive home. And, you know, by the time I got changed and everything, I could still smell it. So I got over 10 hours performance on this, and I would say projection isn't super loud. It's about an arm's length for the first hour or so, and then it kind of comes in. But the sillage goes strong for the entire life of the fragrance, because I would say about maybe probably the 9 hour mark, I had walked through the hallway. I was on my way out of the building, and my friend caught me outside. She said, "I smelled you in the hallway," and I was like, that's hilarious. But that's awesome. If the sillage is still going that far into the dry down, that's really awesome. I don't need projection to be super beast mode. I'm not trying to get sent home from work. But if the sillage trail is this nice, because she was very impressed by it, so I'm into that. I think sillage is very important. I think for me that's kind of like the number one thing of a fragrance. You're not typically just spraying something and sitting down for hours at a time. I mean, sometimes, maybe, but typically you're moving around. So I find the sillage to be above average on this fragrance. In terms of who can wear this, because of the scent profile of this fragrance, this is really unisex, and I'm not going to put an age on this because I think everyone is going to like this. If you do not like anything sweet, and if maybe you don't like the almond note, you're probably not going to be a big fan. But even if you don't like incense notes, it's not super prominent here at all. I think you're still going to like it. I think this is just going to be a mass appealing fragrance. The line tends to be a mass appealing line in general, the L'Eau Mondiale line. So I can't imagine too many people disliking this. And in terms of where you could wear it, I think this is like the perfect date night fragrance. It kind of has everything. It's got a little bit of the darker notes, it's got some creamy notes, it's got sweet notes, and it's not a huge projection beast, but the sillage trail is just gonna work perfectly for you. You could also dress it up. I typically would say that this is gonna be evening only. You could wear it during the day. I mean, I wear it at work because it's climate controlled, but this is more of an evening scent to me. And maybe just a little bit more dressed up. I wouldn't go too casual with it. Season's gonna be fall and winter, maybe early spring. You could wear it summer nights if you guys have kind of what we have here where I live, where you do have some summer nights that are kind of in the 50s. I think it'd be perfect for that. Compliments, it's been a really big compliment getter for me. Every time I've worn it, I've gotten a compliment. This tends to be DNA that people really like. Again, that sweetness, the vanilla, almond. I think pretty much anytime I wear anything with almond, I get a compliment, as long as it has like decent performance. But yeah, this one really does it. I think it's really nice. And the price, that I don't want to talk too much about. I think this line is a really affordable line. However, this one's kind of hard to find, so if I do find it, I'm gonna link it down below. Typically, I think it's gonna be between $60 and $70, which for what you're getting and the performance, I think is really good, especially because it might be discontinued. They tend to discontinue a lot of stuff, and I heard rumors about it. If you know anything about this fragrance and whether or not it's been discontinued, drop that down below. I would like to know if anyone has any idea. Again, it could be a rumor. 99% of the time so far, though, the rumors have been true about most things. Not everything, but most things. If you've tried this, let us know how it's done for you down below. Like this video if you liked it. Be subscribed to my channel. Hit that notification bell to get notified when I drop new videos. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!